The world felt quieter these days, wrapped in a velvet silence where once the laughter of the divine echoed long ago. The Sky Father, the Earth Mother, the Weaver of Stars, and the Keeper of Tides walked openly among the forests and mountains, their presence a comforting warmth in the hearts of mortals. They had made promises then vows of protection, whispered assurances of guidance through storm and shadow, but centuries flowed like forgotten rivers, and the gods retreated, their forms dissolving into myth, their voices fading to sighs on the wind. Humans grew taller, built cities that scraped the clouds, and learned to navigate the dark without looking up. The grand promises felt like ancient, crumbling scrolls, their ink bleached by time, leaving only a hollow ache of abandonment in the souls of those who still remembered the old tales. One such soul was Elara. She lived in a cottage nestled where the whispering pines met the edge of a vast, silent moor. Her grandmother had filled her childhood with stories of the gods' vibrant presence, their kindness as tangible as sunlight. Now, Elara felt their absence like a physical chill, especially on nights when the wind howled across the moor like a lost thing. She tended her small garden, watched the stars wheel overhead, and whispered questions into the dusk that only the echoes answered. Where did your promises go? She murmur, her breath misting in the cold air. Did you forget us when the world grew loud? Her loneliness was a quiet companion, deepened by the feeling that something infinitely precious had been misplaced, leaving the world fundamentally incomplete and colder than it was meant to be. A terrible drought came. It wasn't merely a lack of rain. It was as if the Earth Mother herself had turned her face away. The sun beat down relentlessly, cracking the fertile soil. Elara depended on her garden wilted, the leaves curling into brittle, brown fists. The stream by her cottage dwindled to a sickly trickle, then vanished entirely, leaving only parched, dusty stones. The once vibrant moor turned a desolate, scorched yellow. Fear, cold and sharp, replaced Elara's loneliness. Her carefully tended plants, her source of food and beauty, were dying before her eyes. She looked at the hard, unforgiving sky, a vast dome of relentless blue, and felt a crushing wave of despair. Where were the protectors now? Where was the promise of care when the land cried out? One searing afternoon, as Elara knelt beside her withering rosemary bush, tears cutting tracks through the dust on her cheeks, a small, impossible thing happened. A single, fat raindrop splashed onto the back of her hand, then another and another. Elara gasped. Looking up, the sky remained fiercely clear. No cloud marred the expanse of blue, yet the rain fell, gentle and cool, only on her tiny garden plot, a shimmering curtain descending from seemingly empty air. The thirsty soil drank it in with audible sighs, and the drooping plants seemed to lift their heads, trembling with sudden relief. This wasn't natural rain. It felt alive, carrying the faint scent of distant oceans and deep earth. It was a whisper, a direct response to her silent plea, a small, undeniable miracle blooming in the heart of the drought. That night, under a sky blazing with stars Elara felt were watching, a soft light gathered at the edge of the moor. It coalesced into four familiar, yet long unseen forms. The Sky Father, shimmering like heat haze. The Earth Mother, her skin the rich brown of fertile loam. The Weaver, draped in constellations. The Keeper, smelling of salt and deep water. Their eyes held an ancient sorrow child. Their voices blended, a sound like wind through ancient trees and waves on a distant shore. We never forgot our promise. We heard every sigh, felt every tear, but your world grew strong. Proud in its own light, we stepped back, fearing our presence would stifle the magnificent song of humanity you were composing. Our silence was not absence, but a painful respect for your burgeoning independence. A space we thought you needed. Elara's heart hammered against her ribs, a mixture of awe and the residue of old hurt. But the drought? The loneliness? We needed you. The promise felt broken. The Earth Mother stepped forward, her bare feet leaving faint impressions of blooming clover on the scorched ground. We watch, always, she murmured, her voice thick with emotion like deep roots stirring. We intervene only when the balance tips too far, when the natural song falters beyond your own power to mend. When despair threatens to extinguish hope entirely, the rain was a reminder. Not an overstep, we are the hidden currents beneath the river, the unseen roots holding the mountains steady. Our promise was not to carry you, but to ensure the ground beneath your feet remains, the keeper added, his voice the deep rumble of tides. Forgiveness is asked for our long silence. We misunderstood the depth of your need for the feeling of us, the comfort of the known. Even as you soared, a profound understanding washed over Elara. Warmer than the miraculous rain, the gods hadn't abandoned their promise. They had transformed it. Their protection wasn't in grand, daily interventions, but in the fundamental laws of nature, in the resilience woven into life itself, and in those subtle, almost invisible moments of grace when all seemed lost. The ache of loneliness dissolved, replaced by a deep, resonant connection to the very fabric of the world around her. She saw their presence now, a euro, in the stubborn green shoot pushing through a crack, in the predictable turn of the seasons, in the inexplicable strength that rises in the human heart during trials. They were the silent guardians of possibility. Years later, Elara became known as the bridge builder. She rebuilt the old stone bridge spanning the river near her cottage. A symbol of connection, she shared her story, not as a demand for constant divine spectacle, but as a quiet testament to an enduring, patient love. She taught that the God's promise lived on a euro, in the strength found within community, in the courage to face hardship, in the quiet beauty of a sunrise after a storm, and in the subtle, often overlooked, miracles that sustain life. People learned to listen again, not just for thunderous pronouncements, but for the gentle hum of the world, the whisper of the wind carrying an ancient, unbroken vow. They understood that while the gods might walk unseen, their promise was etched into the turning earth and the vast, watchful sky, a silent, everlasting embrace holding the fragile wonder of the world together. And on clear nights, sitting on her rebuilt bridge, Elara would smile, feeling not the absence of giants, but the comforting, enduring presence of a love that had simply learned to speak in a softer, more profound language.